all the food and dietary supplements that we mention on this program are intended to contribute to the daily diet and overall health. They're not intended for the use in the prevention, treatment, mitigation, or cure of a disease or health-related condition. Individuals who have or suspect that they have an illness or who wish to commence a diet or exercise program should be consulting with an appropriately licensed healthcare practitioner for their medical history evaluation, diagnosis, treatment, and health recommendations.
Welcome to the Health and Wellness Hour with Dr. Joel Wallach and Pharmacist Keith Abell. They believe when it comes to nutrition and supplementation, the modern medical system has failed you, that our body is divinely designed to repair itself given the correct foundation of nutrients. With a combined 85 years experience in health, nutrition, and supplementation, they bring a unique perspective on how to manage disease and improve one's health. Over the next hour, Dr. Wallach and Pharmacist Keith will discuss health and wellness topics seen in the news. They'll discuss trends in nutrition and supplementation and how you can take control of your own health and your future. Let's get on with the show. I'm Keith Abell, and if you're anything like me, you're short on time, but you're smart enough to know we get one body in this lifetime, so we better not screw it up. You already know how your body works on a basic level, right? It's essentially a chemical reactor. In goes food for fuel, and out comes waste. Sounds simple enough, but we weren't exactly handed an owner's manual at birth, and it turns out our body needs 90 essential nutrients to thrive. In fact, most diseases that we're told are genetic or that only drugs can cure are actually preventable and even reversible if you're getting these 90 essential nutrients. 100 years ago, you got them from food, but today you can't. It's impossible. The soil doesn't have those nutrients, and if it's not in the soil, it's not in your fruits and vegetables or the plants our livestock eats. Even if you already eat right, unless you are supplementing your healthy diet with those nutrients, it's physically impossible for your body to produce what your DNA is telling your body that it needs. What that means is, if that you live and eat in America, and most places on earth, you are mineral deficient. Now, why didn't our parents or grandparents warn us about this? The truth is, your granddaddy's soil is long gone. The modern medical approach is that it's easier to prescribe a drug to treat a symptom than it is to teach a person how to heal themselves. I don't accept that, and I'm willing to bet that you don't either. So you're probably just as shocked as I was to learn that mineral deficiencies can cause diabetes, arthritis, infertility, age spots, fibromyalgia, birth defects, back pain, kidney stone, even certain types of cancer, and the list goes on and on. There are literally hundreds of these mineral deficiency diseases, most of which we find out about after it's too late, and all of which have been linked to one or more mineral and vitamins that need to be ingested on a daily basis. Here's the bottom line, and this is what the person who sent you here knew that you were smart enough to understand. In this day and age, most Americans will suffer from the pain and cost of nutrient deficiency diseases, but you have a choice. You can correct your body chemistry. You can fix your mineral deficiencies with 90 for Life, a daily health regimen with certified organic whole foods, probiotic, and essential vitamins and minerals. It's the one solution that has all 90 of the nutrients you need to prevent and correct nutrient deficiencies. Now let me tell you about the doctor who developed 90 for Life. Dr. Joel Wallach is the founder of Youngevity. He's a Nobel Prize nominated biomedical research scientist, a naturopathic doctor, and an accomplished author, a pioneer in the study of epigenetics and an expert in nutritional deficiencies. Dr. Wallach got his start in the field of animal studies. In fact, he led the National Institute of Health's project that resulted in him co-authoring a book that's become the definitive scientific work on over 900 animal diseases, a work that's been classified by the Smithsonian Institute as a national treasure. Dr. Wallach founded Youngevity to wean the American public away from the medical industry protocol of treating the symptoms while living with the disease and to a more effective protocol of teaching people how to use proper nutrition to correct their body chemistry. Youngevity is now a $100 million a year company, publicly traded, with a perfect track record with the SEC and consumers because their products work. 90 for Life is only one of 1,000 offerings from Youngevity, and all of them are scientifically formulated and 100% guaranteed. You'll have no trouble finding things at Youngevity to make you feel better, look better, and live better. But the first step is for you to correct your nutrient deficiencies, which is why you start with 90 for Life. It tastes good, makes you feel great, and keeps you healthy. So thank the person who sent you here and ask them to help you get started today. Then go back to enjoying your life knowing that a daily dose of prevention does a lifetime of good. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Campaign for Nutrition, Health, and Wellness Hour. We've got a lot going on today, and I'm going to let Dr. Wallach jump right in there and let us know what the state of the union is.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Pharmacist Keith. I'm excited about the upcoming events because we have so many good things. We're going to put 10 of our best Zooms together over the 2-3 years we've been doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to put those together in one tool. It's going to be 10 of them. And so you're in the process of editing them right now. And so I'm very excited about that. And so I can't thank you enough for your efforts. Then I want to start out by going to a recent news release. It's got to be about 2 weeks ago now. I was shocked. I mean, I had to sit down and take a deep breath. The U.S. government came out and said, we spend each year in America $85 billion. That's $85 billion for pharmaceuticals to treat the symptoms. Now, you hear what I said, to treat the symptoms of MS, multiple sclerosis. $85 billion. I mean, that is crazy when you think about it. And just to treat the symptoms, not to get rid of it, but just to treat the symptoms, 85 billion. Now, it turns out that MS, multiple sclerosis, is the most common neurological disease in America. In your position, you've probably seen plenty of prescriptions written out for MS patients. And it's one of those things where being a pathologist, my thesis is in the Smithsonian Institute, the one that you mentioned. It's in the Smithsonian Institute as a national treasure. I'm very, very proud of that. And actually, I started looking at all the details of MS, which I had never done because patients didn't come to me if they had MS. They'd go to their medical doctor, their neurologist, and they'd write them 10 prescriptions, and they were happy because their symptoms got reduced or eliminated. But then they would die in their 50s and 60s and 70s. So I began to learn things about MS. I learned that MS occurs 3 times more frequently in women than it does in men. It occurs more frequently in the northern states compared to the southern states. We're beginning to get a picture here, okay? And then it's one of those things where the next thing that I learned was that the symptoms of MS are exactly the same thing as I had written in my book, It's All in Your Head, because I had gotten so many people calling in with diseases that their doctors would just give them a prescription for dealing with the symptoms. And they said, can you get rid of this? I'm tired of taking all these prescriptions. It turns out that It's All in Your Head. That got me the Lifetime Achievement Award for the United Nations. The Lifetime Achievement Award for the United Nations. Mm-hmm. That was 2015. I'm very, very proud of that. Okay. And then it turned out there was enough information we put into a small book. I think it's only like 30 pages or something like that. It's all in your head. And it goes into the 12 cranial nerves that your brain produces and your spinal cord. Okay. And here are some of the 25 different diseases you get when you have something going on with osteoporosis of your skull. Osteoporosis of the skull. The doctors never talk about that. When you have osteoporosis of your right knee or your left hip, you have osteoporosis in every bone and every joint in your body, including your skull. But doctors never say that. And they send you to all their classmates who are specialists in this disease and that disease and so on. And that's how they kind of keep going. $85 billion a year. Holy
just
moly.
On prescriptions.
Just for the prescription. That has nothing to do with lab tests, doctor's visits, hospitalizations. No, nothing. Okay. Let's look at atrial fibrillation. It's an irregular heartbeat. It's actually not due to the heart, but they want to anesthetize you, cut you open, do what's called a ablation, where they put a hot branding iron on your heart and hope to redirect the beat to a normal beat. It's actually caused by osteoporosis of the skull, squeezing the 10th cranial nerve. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, reflux, bloating, diarrhea, gastroparesis, which is also squeezing the 10th cranial nerve by osteoporosis of the skull. All of these are squeezing the 10th cranial nerve. Hiccups, a recurrent branch of the 10th cranial nerve, which attaches to your diaphragm, and you get these bouts of hiccups. Bell's palsy, the 7th cranial nerve, that's the facial nerve being squeezed. ONA, optic nerve atrophy, you're slowly losing your vision. because the skull is squeezing the optic nerve, the optic artery, the optic vein, and the pressure is going up in your eye, and doctors want to do surgery and all this kind of stuff. Vertigo, this is the vestibular branch of the eighth cranial nerve being squeezed by your skull when you have osteoporosis of the skull. Meniere's disease, same thing, tinnitus, ringing in the ears. That's the auditory branch of the eighth cranial nerve being squeezed. Paget's disease, your skull normally is supposed to be a quarter of an inch thick when it's healthy. When you have osteoporosis of the skull, trying to make up for the lack of strength, it'll get to be an inch or 2 inches thick. It's called Paget's disease. And Paget was a British doctor who thought it was an autoimmune disease. It was really just osteoporosis of the skull, okay, squeezing all these different nerves, including the spinal cord. Trigeminal neuralgia, that's the fifth cranial nerve. Spinal cord paralysis. Now, one of the things when I was talking to a patient who had MS, he said, well, if this is all due to osteoporosis of the skull, why do I have all this stuff in my legs? Well, when your skull is squeezing your spinal cord, you're getting what's called a peripheral neuropathy. You're getting numbness and tingling and itching and all that kind of stuff from your neck down. You get carpal tunnel syndrome. You get trigger finger. Let's see here. What is it? Hammer toe, all this kind of stuff. That's because your skull is squeezing. Your spinal cord is coming out of the back of the skull. Spinal cord is formed in the brain. Okay, spinal cord paralysis. Babies are born with spinal cord paralysis. It's called Erb's palsy, and doctors call it cerebral palsy. Okay, but it's really just the spinal cord squeezing being squeezed by the skull in this baby that has osteoporosis of the skull. Well, that's just some of the diseases you'll hear about in this book. It's all in your head. And I've made in interviews like this, and of course, this is some of the stuff that Pharmacist Keith has on our CDs that are coming out here. I'm very excited about it. We're going to have it'll be the same title. It's a different set. It's all in your head. And it's kind of like the truth about nutrition. The truth about books and the CDs are going to become the big hammers we get out to the world. Okay, I have 21 books, and you can contact us. You can contact Pharmacist Keith, and we'll send you our education brochure with the listing of my 21 best-selling books, the colored pictures of the covers with 2 or 3 paragraphs of what's in them, and so forth. And it's very, very exciting. Okay, we have all this information for the patient. It puts the power to the patient, power to the people. And then, of course, Dr. Wallach's cooking without the bad foods. Well, why is that important with MS, multiple sclerosis, and it's all in your head, osteoporosis of the skull? Well, it turns out that people with osteoporosis, including osteoporosis of the skull, people with MS, multiple sclerosis, all have celiac disease. They all have celiac disease, which is a gluten issue, can't absorb efficiently, and that's why you have a problem. And that's why we have the book, Dr. Wallach's Cooking Without the Bad Foods. It was a 3-year study I did with 3 professional chefs up in Canada. They wouldn't believe that you could, eat well without gluten and sugar and all that kind of stuff. And so I made a wager with them. We did the 3 years of the study, in Eastern Canada. And at the end of the 3 years, I'm going to read to you a couple of short paragraphs, what their chief Chef Norman said, at the end of the study. And this book came out of it, 300 pages of gluten-free cooking, 300 pages of gluten-free recipes and fried food-free recipes. Okay, this is from Chef Norman, Canada. I've worked in the culinary industry well over 20 years. When I first encountered Dr. Wallach's food recommendations, I believed it was impossible to cook that way. In the food industry, oil and gluten are ubiquitous. Fortunately, I was wrong. And in the last 2 years, we have recreated dishes that I can think of without the forbidden ingredients. We've gone back to the basics of cooking, and we have fit Dr. Wallach's recommendation into all of the materials I was taught in chef school. I've done my best to include as many variations of traditional recipes, so this book should be able to feed a family a huge variety of healthy foods that also taste good and retains the textures that we know and love. And so this book is flying off the shelf because anybody who has a history with Europe, the UK, United Kingdom, England, let's see here, England, Scotland, and Ireland, and then Spain, of course, and let's see here, Germany, Italy, all of the other countries in Middle Europe, all the way right up to Russia, which they're having I think they have a gluten problem with Putin. He's got a gluten problem, it's his problem, and so all of this stuff is happening, We have the answer, and I'm so proud of my work with Pharmacist Keith, and we're coming out with this 10 CD set a 10 CD set. And what are you going to call it, Pharmacist Keith?
It's going to be Best of the Campaign for Nutrition, Health, and Wellness Hour.
Well, there you go. And so be looking for it, because in the next month or so, we'll have it, maybe sooner than that, but because, it's already pre-recorded and we just have to do a little editing and stuff. And that's, I can't thank Pharmacist Keith enough for taking on that responsibility. And of course, it covers everything from, there are no genetically transmitted diseases. There are no autoimmune diseases. They're all nutritional deficiency diseases. Oh my gosh. And so this is exciting. And so you have what's available now, drjwallach.com, as Pharmacist Keith noted earlier, drjwallach.com. And it's one of those things, if you buy 10 of any of the books or CDs and that kind of stuff, well, it's actually, that's just for the books. If you buy 10 of any of them, you get a big discount. If you buy 500, you get that discount. Buy 5,000, you get a discount. If you buy 9, you don't get the discount. Okay, over to you, Pharmacist Keith.
Yeah, I wanted to add another component to this MS problem. I was just looking into artificial sweeteners, and the consumption of low-calorie sweeteners has jumped 200% in U.S. children. It's jumped 54% in adults from 1999 to 2012. And what's concerning about that is what we're starting to see now, the drastic rise in MS. What happens is aspartame, probably the number one consumed artificial sweetener, is broken down in the body into, let's see. I lost my page. Okay, one of the things it's broken down to is methyl alcohol. Methyl alcohol, as anybody knows, that's the alcohol that is dangerous.
It's in whiskey.
Methyl alcohol will kill you. And what's happening is when aspartame is heated up, it starts turning into formaldehyde. And the symptoms of formaldehyde poisoning are multiple sclerosis and Alzheimer's disease. So we're seeing this massive increase because of the obesity epidemic of children, of parents putting them on these artificial sweeteners. So we have this obesity epidemic, which is being driven by nutritional deficiencies. And then we're trying to be responsible adults and not wanting to take the soda away from our kids. We're giving them diet sodas now, which the primary sugar substitute in diet sodas is aspartame. And I don't know how many times I've been to a gas station where they got all the sodas sitting in the window of the gas station. The little Dairy Mart, whatever. And the sun is beating down through that window. It's heating up those bottles. A lot of times they'll have the display actually outside the store, and the sun is heating those things up. So we're fighting a losing battle here. We're minerally deficient, causing obesity. We're substituting sugar with aspartame, and it's breaking down into our body into methyl alcohol and formaldehyde, which are the two things that cause multiple sclerosis and Alzheimer's. So we've got the dietary side of things causing the multiple sclerosis and the Alzheimer's, and now we have this, artificial sweetener problem causing the same problem. So just want to throw that out there.
And there's another problem. There's another problem.
Go ahead.
Okay, we talked about that in a couple of those CDs. It's in that 10 CD set coming out. And that is, of course, statin drugs, because doctors want you to believe that cholesterol is a bad thing. Cholesterol makes up 75% of your brain weight. It's the white matter of the brain. Okay. There's many, many tissues and cells in the body that manufacture cholesterol. If you don't eat enough, your body manufactures it. You require cholesterol to insulate all the nerve fibers in your brain, so that when you send out a nerve signal, the nerve signal is able to go from your brain all the way down to your big toe. Okay. Without that insulation, it wouldn't get there. It'd be derailed somewhere along the line. And so cholesterol is an essential nutrient, not a poison. But after they came out with cholesterol fighting drugs, okay, statin drugs, we got a new disease that never been heard of before called Alzheimer's disease. Now, there's lots of dementias. There's senile dementia and all this kind of stuff. But the very specific form of dementia called Alzheimer's disease did not occur until when statin drugs came out. And everybody wanted statin drug. We got to protect the patients, get them all on statin drugs. And that was the death of the brain in humanity, okay? Really, really, really a bad thing, because cholesterol is one of your most important essential nutrients. And that's why you hear me when I talk to people, got to get rid of all the bad foods, just as Pharmacist Keith was just talking about. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, no barley, rye, no oats, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. Even the diet ones got to go. And absolutely, you must eat, as an adult, 3 eggs twice a day. With maybe 9. You could have three times a day if you want. I eat 3 twice a day minimum. Soft yolks, soft boiled, soft poached, soft scrambled in butter. Hard boiled eggs won't count because it destroys the cholesterol. Okay, fried eggs don't count because it causes cancer. But you have to eat those eggs. Okay, and people say, well, my doctor says I can't have eggs because of cholesterol. Well, get a different doctor. That doctor should have his license taken away and he should be put in jail because he's killing so many people. But maybe all the other doctors like that because he's sending all these people with Alzheimer's to them as referrals. And so Alzheimer's disease is a physician-caused disease. I'm going to repeat that. Alzheimer's disease is a physician-caused disease. It, as an entity, did not exist until statin drugs came out. Over to you, Pharmacist Keith.
Yeah, I want you to think about this now. Okay. Everything Dr. Wallach just said about statin drugs, ditto. We switched all of our sodas from simple sugar to high fructose corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup is not processed by your body like simple sugars are. And high fructose corn syrup is probably the #1 cause now of fatty liver disease. It's surpassed alcoholism as causing fatty liver disease.
Wow.
Then obesity is escalating because of mineral deficiencies, because of all of our high processed foods. We decide that we need to keep drinking our sweetened drinks, so we switched to aspartame sweetened drinks. So that's causing formaldehyde poisoning. Next, because we're drinking so many sodas now, our stomach acid is not where it's supposed to be. So we're starting to have lots of reflux. And doctors are concerned about the reflux because the reflux into the esophagus tends to lead towards esophageal cancer. So now the doctors, because we want the doctors to cure our reflux, they put us on a proton pump inhibitor. The proton pump inhibitor is now keeping us from absorbing the minerals that our body needs. And the doctors wonder, and the medical system wonders, why our bodies are breaking down and why these diseases are all accelerating. It's a wonder, Dr. Wallach, that anything in this country is working properly. We've got all these outside forces with all this money, with all their agendas. I bet you can only eat one, load the food up with salt. So you're going to constantly eat the food because the snack food industry knows that we're minerally deficient. They know from the veterinary industry that if you want to get a cow to eat nonstop, you put salt in it, but don't put the rest of the minerals. And that cow's just going to keep eating. Well, hell, the snack food industry thought, wow, we can make millions of dollars. We put a little salt in the food. People are going to eat. The drug companies, they're producing.
But you just can't eat one.
Yeah. And the drug companies, they're producing foods to take care of a symptom that's very simple for us to take care of on our own, acid reflux. The whole system is broken. And that's why we're on here week after week after week, telling people about, you've got to have all your 90 essential nutrients. You've got to take personal responsibility.
Yes, and I'll throw one more ad in here right now. Don't forget to see here the truth about nutrition, the book, the CD, the DVD, that's immediately available. You buy 10 or more, you get a big discount. It's $10 per set. The book, the CD, the DVD, you get a $10 discount if you buy 10 or more. I don't care if you buy 5,000, we'll still give you the discount. And then, of course, it's all in your head. Right now, we just have the book available. Within a week or 10 days, we'll have the CD and the DVD available. And we're very excited about that. So we'll have 2 sets like that. And then, of course, we have epigenetics. We have Dr. Wallach Cooking Without the Bad Food. We have Hell's Kitchen, which goes into just all the things that Pharmacist Keith was talking about. You know, just his story. Dr. Milan and I decided to call the book that was coming out based on this information, Hell's Kitchen, after the area in New York City. It's a location in New York City that has every bad thing that human beings do is in that location, and it's designated as Hell's Kitchen. And I said, well, that's a perfect title for the book, because everything that doctors are telling us to do is wrong. And so when we went from wood stoves and fireplaces and fire pits to electricity, we gave up that nutrition that Pharmacist Keith just so eloquently talked about. We gave up that nutrition, okay? When we went to electricity, no more wood ashes for the garden, which were 98% minerals and 2 or 3% carbon. No more wood ashes in our food. My first job on the farm when I was like 3, 4, 5 years old, every morning was to take a little bucket and a big bucket and fill up the little bucket with ashes from the wood stove so grandma could put those wood ashes into our food, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, so we'd get our minerals. And then in the big bucket, 5-gallon bucket, we put the rest of the wood ashes in there from the fireplace and the wood stove. And we would put that up and down the rows in between the plants, you know, and we're talking about everything from corn and squash and onions and beets and cucumbers and tomatoes and things like that. We're getting the minerals that way. Now, once we went to electricity, Hell's Kitchen, no more minerals. It just shut off, bam. And we wound up with like 40 new diseases nobody ever seen before. And doctors said, oh, these are all genetic diseases. And that's where that nonsense came from, because suddenly these diseases came from, they never heard of them before. They didn't know what they were. And they just said, well, they got to be genetic because everybody in the family's got it. Well, that's because everybody was, you know, eating the same food. There you go.
All right. Well, we got some questions coming in already. And
Okay.
Lady Knight, if you want to unmute yourself. All right. Maybe she can't unmute herself. Okay. She says that she has a 67-year-old female that is 5'6" and 210 pounds. She's diabetic, has high blood pressure. So we see metabolic syndrome there.
Yep.
Smokes 1 to 2 packs of cigarettes a day, depending on her stress level. She's had 2 back-to-back strokes with minor paralysis within the last 20 days. She's currently in rehab and will be coming home soon. And they want to know what to recommend. There's one thing I want to recommend right off the bat. The smoking and the stress. We have a product in our Hemp FX line called Hemp FX Uplift. And this product is made, of course, with a non-THC CBD oil. And it also has St. John's wort in it. St. John's wort is an herb that has been used for centuries for depression and stress. So between the CBD and its abilities to calm stress, and with combining it with this St. John's wort, that would be the perfect thing for her to take to help with the smoking problem. In fact, they do use drugs similar to, prescription drugs that are similar to St. John's wort as an aid for smoking cessation. It's going to take 6 weeks or more, 6 weeks to 2 months before a person starts seeing any benefit from the St. John's wort side of it. She will see some benefit right away from the CBD side of it in relieving some of the stress. But to use it for smoking cessation aid, it's going to take about 6 weeks to 2 months. So, Dr. Wallach, I'll let you address the rest of problems here.
Okay, I want to throw something in here, but you did a great job. Thank you so much. Well, the reason why people start smoking and drinking and all this kind of stuff is they're minerally deficient. They develop a habit called pica, eat and eat and eat and eat, and it doesn't satisfy them. So they start looking for stuff. Oh, I'll try smoking. I'll try having beer with lunch every day. I'll try having a shot of whiskey before dinner at night. And they get hooked on the alcohol. They get hooked on the cigarettes and tobacco and cigars and things, because it does relieve a lot of the symptoms. Okay. And so, because tobacco is an herb. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things where it will relieve symptoms. And people, oh my God, I just can't do without my cigarettes. I can't do without my chew tobacco. I cannot do without my cigars. But if you start taking your nutrients, and really every time you crave a cigarette or a cigar or chaw, tobacco, take a shot of minerals. Okay, we have the cherry minerals, which taste very good. You can also just take the plain minerals and rub before you go to bed every night, rub a half a cup full of our plain plant minerals liquid on your belly. Rub another half cup on your back. Have somebody help you do that. And we have a CD and a DVD set called Praise the Lord and Pass the 90. Where Pastor Mike Freeman, okay, up in Baltimore, Maryland, he was in a coma. Doctor said he was in a hospital up in Baltimore, Maryland. He only had, like days to live. And Miss Linda, one of our great distributors up there in Baltimore, Maryland. And so she asked me if there was anything we could do for Pastor Mike. I said, well, does he have a G tube? We can give him some nutrients. No. Okay, we'll just take the minerals and rub on him. She calls me 3 days later and said he woke up, he shaved, he went back to work. He's now, as we're speaking, he's at the TV studio and the radio studio of the church telling the world his experience, okay, with just rubbing the plant minerals on him, where the doctors had failed and said he only had a few days to live. The minerals were absorbed through his skin and filled a missing piece somewhere, and he woke up. And that was 3 years ago. And he is pounding the pavement, pounding the TV, pounding the radio. He is just telling the story over and over and over. And that's why we have the DVD and the CD set called Praise the Lord and Pass the 90. And so we're very, very excited about that. That's going to be the title of the last chapter of the new book coming out, Praise the Lord and Pass the 90. That's going to be the title of that last chapter in the new book coming out. I'm so excited about that. So between the set that Pharmacist Keith and I are doing, and we've already done it, and he's editing it right now. And
Okay,
I'm very excited about that.
So to answer Ms. Knight's questions here.
Okay, here we go.
We're going to start with the healthy brain and heart pack.
Mm-hmm. Yep, 2 of those.
Based on body weight, so it's going to be 2 of them.
Yeah,
we're going to add on to that the Sweeties. It's going to be 2 bottles of that a month.
3 twice a day.
3 twice a day.
One thing here, if she's on prescription for her diabetes, don't cold turkey off the prescription.
No.
But as the blood sugar begins to go down, you can slowly reduce the medication based on the numbers. And then the
don't
same thing is
turkey
true
on the high blood pressure medicine either.
Same thing.
If you don't know how to monitor your blood sugar, go see your pharmacist and let them show you how you can monitor it.
Blood sugar and blood pressure.
And if you've got medical insurance, your insurance should probably pay for a diabetic machine, which makes it even easier.
And then the strokes, she wants 2 bottles a month of the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. That's on top of everything else. Take 3 of those twice a day, and they will support healthy blood flow through blocked arteries and support healthy, again, blood pressure, as well as reduce significantly the risk of having another stroke. Okay.
And the problem with strokes, people, is the blood vessels get blocked. And that's why Dr. Wallach recommends this product to help unblock the blood vessels. But if it's not taken care of, it can also lead to an aneurysm where those blood vessels then break and burst. So you want to strengthen the walls of these microscopic arteries and veins that are all through the body. And that's why the Ultimate Daily Classic. This is something that we got my mother-in-law on.
Yeah, it's also the MSM and the collagen peptides help repair the walls of the arteries too.
And the selenium copper product that's in the healthy
brain and heart pack.
But what you're wanting to do here is you're wanting the body to repair itself to improve the blood flow through those microvessels so that the body needs to make them more flexible. They're not flexible enough, so it's causing these blockages. And then the body starts attacking where those blockages are. And eventually the inflammation is going to cause microscopic tears, which then eventually leads to bursting. So we want to make sure we're getting the anatomy taken care of there by getting all these 90 essential nutrients to make these microscopic blood vessels more pliable. And if you've got blockages there in the heart or in the brain, it's causing the stroke. You got blockages all over the body. I guarantee you this person has a varicose veins, possibly even hemorrhoids, because those are all the same exact problem, just in different parts of the body.
Yeah. Probably also has white grays over here, which is not due to aging, it's due to the same deficiency.
Yep, same
Don't tell 'em which
deficiency
one
of
it
what's
is.
in that brain and heart pack.
That's right. There you go. 215 nutrients. And
Exactly.
I used to tell people, they say, well, which one is it? And I would tell them, and then they'd go buy that one, and then they would die because they missed the other 210.
Mm-hmm. And it's, the body's a complicated machine. There's millions of chemical reactions going on all the time in the body. And all these chemical reactions need various minerals to drive the reaction one way or another. And if you're deficient of the mineral, the chemical reaction isn't going to go the way it's supposed to. It's going to go the opposite way and eventually cause the red warning light, pain in the joints, or the stroke is a red warning light. It's going to cause these things, the blood sugar problems, the high blood pressure. In fact, the high blood pressure is being caused by the same thing that the stroke's being caused by.
That is correct.
So let's get on with the show. Talitha, can you unmute yourself? There you go.
Good
Welcome,
morning.
Talitha.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Talitha.
Yes, hi, good morning, Dr. Wallach. So my question is for a young lady. She's around 45 years old. Average, I'm not sure how much she weighs, but she's average weight. I know she's under 175 pounds, I would say. Probably around 5'4" in height. And she has Hodgkins disease. It's
Hodgkin's lymphoma.
a skin condition. And she's wondering, like, what can she do from a nutritional standpoint to help with this? Okay,
now, is this Hodgkin's disease is kind of a weird cancer. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Or does she have? Okay. And
That's
so
a
she's
cancer
got
of the lymph nodes.
Yeah, cancer lymph nodes. And so if she has skin disease, that's not unusual because people eat a lot of gluten and they get psoriasis and eczema and all that kind of stuff as secondary nutritional deficiencies to consuming gluten. So she needs to get rid of all the bad foods. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, no butter, rye, and oats, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. Even the diet ones got to go because, as Pharmacist Keith so eloquently pointed out earlier in the show, that even the carbonation in the diet drinks neutralize stomach acid, which is designed to absorb minerals and digest food. Okay, so you need that stomach acid. Stomach acid is not bad. Stomach acid is good. Okay, you have to have it. That's why the good Lord put chief cells in the walls of our stomachs to make stomach acid out of sodium chloride. Oh, that's salt. Salt is good for you. My doctor says I shouldn't be using salt. Well, get a different doctor. Okay. The average lifespan of an emergency room doctor is 57. Why would you ask them about how to live a long, healthful life? Okay, not very good. Okay, so here we go. 175 pounds. Again, get rid of all the bad foods, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, no butter, rye, and oats, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. Even the diet one's got to go. And then I would have her take 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month. That's our big hammer in the toolbox since she has a form of cancer. So she needs 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, a full dose of everything twice a day. She needs 2 bottles a month of our MSM. So she can take 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner time, and they will support and promote maintenance repair of cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, discs between the vertebrae, bone matrix, which includes the bone marrow, which makes the white blood cells, which is part of your Marines and, to go kill and eat the cancer cells and stuff like that. So you want to have a good bone marrow. That's MSM. And then the collagen peptides are also good for the immune system and the bone marrow. Take a scoop of that with her morning drink, a scoop of that with her evening drink. And then I would also throw in the collagen peptides. I said that. Beyond OsteoFX. That's what I want. Beyond OsteoFX. It comes in a liquid. Let's go with the liquid. She needs 2 quarts a month, an ounce at breakfast, ounce at liquid. Tastes pretty good. Just put it in the drink. And then I would also have her take something that's going to really support the immune system. There's two things. So one is Fucoid Z, is made out of, I don't know, 8 or 9 different seaweeds. Take 3 of those twice a day, 2 bottles a month. She also needs the it's killer biotic. That's what I want, killer biotic. And she can go ahead and take 3 of those twice a day, and they're made from mushrooms. And it's one of those things where you just really, really need them. Go ahead and take 3 twice a day. And if you want to, you can go and ask Siri, tell me about the reishi mushroom, because the meat reishi mushroom is in killer biotic. Yeah, killer biotic. And it's the reishi mushroom, okay? And the reishi mushroom, okay, has a great history of treating all kinds of cancers, including Hodgkins. So you can just ask Siri, say, hey, Siri, show me some of the research that's done with reishi mushrooms in cancer patients. And it'll blow your mind, all the good stuff that happens when you use reishi mushrooms, okay? That's in the killer biotic. You're gonna need to buy 2 bottles a month, or small bottles. So you need to take at least 3 twice a day. Better yet, if you have cancer, I'd go with 3 times a day. So 3 bottles a month. And again, that's to add on to everything else. That's not to take by itself. If you take it by itself, you're not gonna get the maximum benefit. Okay, back to you, Pharmacist Keith.
And how much is a Z radical again?
Oh, I didn't say Z radical. I said Fucoid Z. But if you want to use Z radical is a liquid. You can take 1 ounce twice a day, be 2 quarts a month. It's the liquid form of Fucoid Z. Same exact formula. Fucoid Z is capsules. The Z radical is a liquid. I mean, even little kids like it. It tastes very, very good. And so when I'm home, I use the Z radical. But when I travel, it's too heavy to carry 2 quarts of liquid with me. And so I take the bottles of capsules with me.
Okay. I prefer the liquid form because it's better absorbed, personally.
Well, yeah,
but
sure.
Anytime you can get any of these nutrients in the liquid form or the powder that you convert to liquid, they're going to be absorbed much more quickly.
Okay.
If you go to
Thank you so much.
pubmed.gov, you can look up fucoidin as well as the reishi mushrooms.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Wallach. and
Okay. God bless you.
God bless you.
All right. We had another hand up, but there's no name, so I don't know what it is. So go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, well, I'll say a few things here. We're waiting on that. Another book of interest, I think, if people are really going to be interested in doing the longevity business as a business, in addition to the Hell's Kitchen and Dr. Wallach's Cooking Without the Bad Foods, and It's All in Your Head, and The Truth About Nutrition, you also want to get a hold of the book, the original Dead Doctors Don't Lie. Okay, that is still flying out the door. Dead Doctors Don't Lie, the book. And also there's a CD that goes along with it. The CD is in 9 languages. Okay, that's the advantage of that CD, Dead Doctors Don't Lie. It's in 9 languages. And we've sold 600 million copies around the world of that CD because it's in 9 languages. We're in 80 countries right now. And we're kind of negotiating with a couple more. And we have a new product coming out. It's a financial product where you can get a loan if you're a longevity associate, which is, a distributor, and you have, a little bit of a history of making some income with us. We actually have this thing, and of course, Steve Wallach is going to be announcing all the details this afternoon on his Zoom. Okay, so you might want to look at that. And it's really, 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 so let's say, well, yeah, I'm going to be doing an event, a meeting, and I want to, buy a couple of $1,000s worth of product, but I didn't want to put it on my credit card. And so instead of 25% interest, I don't know, it's gonna be like 10% interest or something like that. And so, there's all kinds of ways you can help with your personal life and also your business life using this new financial product we have. And that's just kind of supporting our business people and all of our preferred customers who are family members. And you think about all the people who have MS. Now, where does all that money come from? $85 billion. Where does that money come from? They're raising your insurance costs to pay for the MS patients, okay? And so everybody needs to be talking to their insurance company and saying, hey, will you pay for nutritional products to help us because it'll reduce the need for pharmaceuticals. I mean, you guys are silly if you don't pay for nutritional products, because they save you a lot of money. Instead of having to pay $60,000 a year in just pharmaceutical costs for an MS patient, it just costs you $4,000 a year, or depending on their body weight, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a year in longevity nutritional products. Is $4,000 or $6,000 a year cheaper than $60,000 a year? And it is in my math.
And just so everybody knows, the product that Dr. Wallach's talking about, it's designed for folks that have a 1099 income. And that's not just longevity people. So it's another source of possible income for you. If you want to learn more, you take your longevity ID number, put it in the computer, then put .davidallencapital.com, and that's going to take you directly to your David Allen Capital website, where you'll be able to find out more about all the different products that are available there. Just in case you didn't know anything about it, but that's just one more quiver that you have, arrow in your quiver rather, that you have for producing extra income. Reginald, thank you very much for being patient there. What's your question today?
Yeah, I had a question about, I have my dad who had a stroke, and he was diabetic, and he had high blood pressure, and he had a stroke, and now he is unable to move the right side of his body. And I was wondering what would be the best course of action to get him to probably recover, if that's
how much
possible.
does this guy? How much does he weigh?
My dad is about 210 pounds.
How tall is he and how old is he?
About 5'8". I think he's about 73 now.
Okay, now does he have any other issues? Does he have any eczema on his skin?
No.
Psoriasis? No. Does he have any irritable bowel syndrome, bowel problems, constipation, diarrhea? Does he have any lung problems, asthma, bronchitis, hiccups?
No.
Okay. Nothing else? No dementias?
No.
Does he have all his own teeth, or does he have implants or dentures?
All his own teeth.
Okay. All right. And so basically,
what did he do for a living?
He's retired now.
What did he do for a living?
He was he worked with people who needed assisted living.
Okay.
Okay. So he was a staff member on an assisted living facility. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And so what we want to do is take care of this guy, get him off all the bad foods, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no gluten, no wheat, bran, rhinos, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. Even the diet one's got to go. And let's see here, 210 pounds. He needs 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, a full dose of everything twice a day. He needs 2 bottles a month of our MSM, so he can take 3 with breakfast, 3 with lunch, 3 dinner time. And they're going to support and promote maintenance repair of cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, including in the walls of blood vessels and veins and arteries and skin and kidneys and all that kind of stuff, as well as, as well as the disc between the vertebrae and so forth. He also, because he's has a history of a stroke, he needs 2 bottles a month of our Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. Take 3 of those twice a day, and that'll support and promote healthy blood flow through blocked arteries in the brain and the coronary arteries in the heart and in the kidneys and so on. He also needs to have our Sweeties. He needs to take 3 of those twice a day. That's 2 bottles a month, but don't cold turkey all his medication for diabetes. But as his blood sugar begins to drop, he can slowly reduce his medication based on the numbers. The same thing is true with the the high blood pressure. And the high blood pressure, of course, again, he's already going to be taking the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. He needs 3 of those twice or 3 times a day, depending on how many issues he's got there, but at least 3 twice a day, Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. And as his blood pressure comes down, he can slowly reduce his medication. Don't cold turkey off the medication. I usually tell people, give me 90 days, but usually within 6 to 9 weeks, they have significantly reduced their blood pressure totally down to where it needs to be, and they can slowly wean off the medication. Okay, and then the ultimate question comes, Reginald, is how long does my dad have to stay on all these nutrients? Well, how long does he need oxygen? Forever. How long does he need water? Forever. How long does he need the 90 essential nutrients? Forever. And you don't want to go through this and get all this done and everything's looking good and stop. People say, well, what do I need this stuff for anymore? I'm good. No, that's not the way this works. When do you stop putting oil in your car? Are you going to stop putting oil in your car when your car's running good and just put dirt from Texas in there instead of oil? No. Would you do the same thing when your warning light on your dashboard is saying that your gas tank is getting empty? Are you going to put dirt from Saudi Arabia in your car? There's bound to be some gasoline in it. No. Okay, you have to do the right stuff, and just eating the four food groups, and eating the 7 food group pyramid doesn't count. Okay, because the nutrients, as Pharmacist Keith so eloquently shared earlier in the show, these nutrients are no longer found in our food because farmers get paid by tons and bushels. They don't get paid by nutritional value of the food. And so they only put NPK in there because that gives them maximum yields per dollar invested, okay? And so they go with NPK. The old days of wood ashes had maybe 25 or 30 or 40 or 50 different minerals in them. Those days are gone, okay? And so you have to take them directly to make up the difference. So I hope that helps you out there.
Now we have a video that goes into the different foods. It's called foodvideo.campaignfornutrition.com. And that'll take you into the different foods and some of the explanations there.
Okay, very good.
All right, thank you, Reginald. Is there any more questions, Reginald?
Is it going to help him move his right side?
Yeah.
It's going to depend on how much brain damage has been done. The goal is to get as much of the movement back as you can, of course. And that's why these nutrients will help. And
don't forget the 3 eggs twice a day.
Yeah, I was going to say, you didn't mention eggs, Doc.
Okay. Yeah, 3 eggs twice a day with soft yolk, soft boiled, soft poached, soft scrambled, and butter. I like mine soft scrambled. When I say soft scrambled, I mean they are runny. Okay, I like them runny. You can just lift the plate and they just run off the plate because they're still liquid. Because I want that cholesterol. I want to rebuild my myelin in my brain. I want to rebuild the myelin in all my 12 pairs of cranial nerves. I want to rebuild the myelin in my spinal cord. Okay.
And again, Reginald, because of the type of stroke, it just depends on how long the brain went without oxygen in the region where the stroke occurred. We can get some of the control back. Cannot guarantee 100% that all of it's going to come back, but he should have a better quality of life by following Dr. Wallach's recommendations.
Thank you.
Okay, we got time for one more? Or?
So that's why I always say that you've got to get your diet under control now before you have a catastrophic failure. I mean, it's just like cutting that red warning light on that car. You don't know when that engine is going to fail, but there's going to come to a point where it's going to be catastrophic and you're not going to be able to repair it. And that's why we're doing this show every week, is we're trying to educate people that they need to take control now before they have one of these catastrophic failures. And stroke is one of those failures that can be very catastrophic. If enough damage is done, enough blood flow is blocked to certain areas of the brain, it's going to cause problem. Okay. Now, let me tell a story real quick. I was traveling with Dr. Wallach, and we went to the steakhouse. And he asked about the seasoning they put on the steak, and I wanted to know if it was gluten-free. And the waitress, of course, had no idea. So he asked to speak to the chef. So the chef comes out. He asked the chef the exact same thing. The chef said, yes, it's gluten-free. And then Dr. Wallach says, well, what's in it? What's in the ingredients? And he started listing all the ingredients. And one of the ingredients was flour. So I don't know if you remember that, Dr. Wallach. So here the chef even thought he was using gluten-free when one of the ingredients on the label was flour. So you've really got to be diligent. I can't believe how many times I've gone to the grocery store and picked something up. And when you read the ingredients, it has some sort of flour in it, even things like ice cream. So you have to read the ingredients. Just because you think it's a gluten-free food, it more than likely is not if it's a processed food that you're getting in a grocery store. So you really have to be diligent when you look at that.
That is good advice. That is good advice. That advice can add 25 to 50 healthy years to your life. So it's certainly worth the effort. It only takes you a couple of seconds to do that. And, you learn all the various words. They say it has oats in it, gluten-free oats. Well, the gluten in oats is called gliadin, but it's still gluten. Even though it's called gliadin, it's still gluten. And so there are no such things as gluten-free oats. So if somebody tries to sell you gluten-free oats, then say, I'm sorry, you've lost a customer here. I'm gonna let everybody know you don't even know what's in the stuff you're selling because it's too dangerous. And so we got to be proactive here to save the people we love and our friends and our neighbors and our church mates, our workmates, our kids and grandkids, our family, immediate family. We got to really be diligent here because they're getting smashed by everybody out there just trying to make a simple buck.
Okay, Dr. Wallach, I know it's coming up to the top of the hour, so people can get hold of you multiple ways. We're on this podcast and Zoom platform every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern, so you can catch us here. You can also go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/givedoc90days, and you can see all the archives there, and 90 is spelled out. You can also catch Dr. Wallach twice a day, Monday through Friday, on one of his 2 radio programs. Until he's out traveling again, he'll be on these shows every single day. So Dr. Wallach, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Okay, well, noon to 1 Pacific time. Okay, that's 3 to 4 Eastern time. Dead doctors don't lie. The telephone number is toll free, 1-888-379-2552. That's toll free, 1-888-379-2552. Then 1 to 2 Pacific time, which is 4 to 5 Eastern time. Let's Play Doctor, 1-877-912-PLAY. That's 1-877-912-7529. And then, of course, my website, which has really all the listed books and CDs and DVD and prices and discounts and all that kind of stuff, www.drjwallach.com, www.drjwallach.com. And remember, you buy 10 or more of any of the books, you get a big discount. And that set, The Truth About Nutrition, the book, the CD, the DVD, you buy 10 or more. I don't care if you buy 10 or 50 or 500 or 5,000, you get the discount. It's $10 per set. And so you buy the 10, that's $100 you're saving right there. And so it's one of those things where they make good presents, birthdays and newborn babies and weddings and promotions and anything that anybody requires a present. You give them one of these sets, you're adding 25 to 50 healthy years of their life if they follow the trail. Okay. Thank you so much, Pharmacist Keith. I can't wait till our new product comes out. Okay. Give them the name of that again.
It's going to be the Best of Campaign for Nutrition's Health and Wellness Hour. And folks, you can get the archive of Dr. Wallach's radio show by visiting radio.givedoc90days, and that's 90. So radio.givedoc90days.com. All the archives of past shows are available there. And we already mentioned you can do the same thing by going to the Facebook page. There is also a podcast out there called Ask Pharmacist Keith. You can get on your favorite podcast platform. And I do have a lot of Dr. Wallach shows there. I don't have them all there, but I do have a lot of them there. So again, that's available on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, your favorite podcast platform. Just search the platform and most likely it's going to be on there. Dr. Wallach, we will see you next week.
Absolutely. And thank you so much, Pharmacist Keith. I can't wait to get this new educational product out there, these 10 shows. I'm excited about that. I can't wait to see the finished product. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Wallach. And folks, just for joining us, we have a couple free gifts for you. You can get a copy of the article Dr. Wallach wrote called Why So Many Young Athletes Die. He wrote this several years ago, talking about deaths among different athletes.
Don't lie. Dead athletes don't lie.
And this is something that you can download to your computer. You can edit to put your name
and contact information on there. I give you permission to do that, and you can share that with as many people as you like. There's also a link to the video called Dead Doctors Don't Lie, Someone Should Go to Jail, Health, Lies, and Medicine. So you can watch that video there. When you go to this website, it doesn't ask for any information from you. It doesn't ask for any information from your guests to go to that website. So we're not collecting information. We're not going to spam anybody or anything. This is totally free for being a loyal listener on here. And that's at dddlvideo.com. That stands for Dead Doctors Don't Lie. dddlvideo.com. So I encourage you to go there and this website. Support Dr. Wallach by buying the books and CDs and videos directly from him. And you can do that at drjwallach.com. He gets the full commission off of it. If you go to Amazon and buy it, Amazon's going to get a piece of the pie. And Amazon's got a big enough piece of the pie, folks. So support Dr. Wallach directly and get his books and CDs there. Plus, there's a lot more on there that are not available through Amazon.
Hello. First of all, I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I know your time's valuable and there's a lot of other things you could be doing right now, so I'll keep this as short as I can. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Keith Abell. I'm a licensed pharmacist and I've been an active pharmacist since 1995. I've worked in many practice settings over the years, but there's one area that I'm particularly passionate about, and that's what I want to share with you in this presentation. As a pharmacist, I'm very passionate about health and wellness. My goal is to help folks improve their overall health and well-being, and I probably take a little bit different approach to health and wellness than many of my peers do. Although the body has very complex biological processes involved in the disease process, I believe that our bodies were divinely designed to repair themselves, and given the proper tools, what I call 90 for life, and the proper environment, it can be accomplished. Yes, pharmaceuticals play an important role in human health. However, it's my belief that they should play a temporary role in the relief of symptoms, and our ultimate goal should be to find ways to allow the body's natural, God-given biological processes to take over. That is, to support and promote the body's ability to repair itself. Since I began my studies in pharmacy at the University of Kentucky, I've always been interested in the role nutrition and supplementation can play in disease prevention and improvement. Back in 1994, prior to graduation as a pharmacist, I started one of the first information and e-commerce websites on the internet. I provided free, helpful information on the use of herbs, vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and other nutrients for the treatment and management of diseases. I also offered quality products that weren't available locally to meet those needs. Upon graduation, most of my professional continuing education has focused on what Linus Pauling calls orthomolecular nutrition. That's the study of nutrition at the molecular level and how it can be used to alleviate symptoms of disease and improve the quality of life. Now, sometimes around 2004 or 2005, something happened in my practice that's had a profound change on the direction of my career. I had a patient come into my store and ask me a question regarding a nutraceutical that I didn't have the answer to. You see, I had a client come in to me and say that they had heard that fish oil lowered cholesterol and he wanted to know how much he should take. Well, that information wasn't available anywhere in any of my reference books, so I had to tell him that I'd get back with him after I do some research. I did a search of the available medical and scientific literature that was available at the time, and I found article after article after article on all the great things that omega-3 fish oil did. You know, reduced blood pressure, improved cholesterol control, it improved control of diabetes, reduced inflammation and arthritis, it raised the good cholesterol, lowered the bad cholesterol. Study after study showing some positive impacts from omega-3s. Then I came across an article from one of the leading medical journals that said fish oil did nothing. Well, back in pharmacy school, I had a professor that said that when you do a scientific search in the literature and you come across many articles that had one result and then one article that had the opposite result, that we needed to ask three questions. Who funded the research? What did they stand to gain or lose from the results? And what did they do differently to get the results that they got? So I took a closer look at that single article that said fish oil did nothing, and I found that it was funded by one of the statin drug manufacturers. So that made it easy to determine what they would stand to gain or lose. If the results showed that it helped control cholesterol, then they would stand to lose billions of dollars in drug sales. So the next question was, to look at what it was that they did different to get the results that they got. So then I looked at all the other studies that showed positive results, and in every single case, in all those other studies, they gave the participants anywhere from 6 grams to even 9 grams of omega-3 fatty acids per day. Then I looked at the statin company study. They only gave the study participants 1 gram of omega-3 per day. They knew it would fail before the research even started. This opened my eyes. Since that day, every time another study came out that said some nutraceutical did nothing, I would do a search of the literature, and in every single case, the negative study was funded by some big pharmaceutical company, and in every single case, they gave the patient a dose that was far below what the other research showed was effective. That's what we called subtherapeutic dose. Or they gave a dosage form that wasn't absorbed properly, or they gave a chemical version of the nutraceutical that wasn't the form that the body could utilize. You see, Big Pharma can't patent something that occurs in nature already, so they couldn't profit from positive outcomes. Eventually, Big Pharma couldn't ignore the evidence on omega-3 fish oils, so they came up with a synthetic form of it to take along with their statin drugs to gain better control of cholesterol and triglycerides. The thing is, even in the synthetic form, they say that it doesn't work alone. It had to be taken with their drug. It doesn't work because, once again, they still only tested it at 4 grams per day. Just to illustrate this one more time, I came across a recent article that said St. John's wort. St. John's wort's a medical herb that's been used for centuries for the treatment of depression. In fact, in Europe, it's the first-line treatment before they ever prescribe Prozac or any other prescription medications. Anyway, the article said that St. John's wort didn't work. So I pulled the article, and in the study, they gave the St. John's wort for 7 days and declared that it failed to work. Now, why is this significant? St. John's wort, just like the prescription drugs Prozac, takes time to accumulate in the body in order to become effective. According to the Natural Medicine's Comprehensive Database, St. John's wort needs to be given for 6 to 8 weeks to produce the desired outcome. Once again, Big Pharma produced a study with misleading information, then they published it in a national journal, knowing good and well that very few health professionals would ever pull the article out and look at what they did to get their results. By the way, that client that I mentioned earlier that asked me how much fish oil to take, I had him purchase some high-quality omega-3 fatty acids and instructed him to take 3 capsules twice a day. That's 6,000 milligrams a day. Within the first month when he came in to buy another bottle, he told me that his joint aches had gone away. Some months later, he told me that his doctor had taken him off his statin medications. His cholesterol and triglyceride levels were in control, and his doctor even reduced the dose of diabetic medications that he'd been taking because he had gained better control of his blood sugar. This incident really opened my eyes, and over the next decade, I've immersed myself in learning everything I can about nutrition and supplementation and the role that it plays in our overall health and well-being. In 2007, I came across the research of a doctor that was a veterinarian, a pathologist, a biomedical researcher, and a physician, Dr. Wallach. That he'd been using veterinary nutritional concepts, that is, using nutritional supplements to prevent and reverse diseases in animals. He had been using these concepts on his human patients and had seen amazing results. I started using those concepts with my clients, using the formulations that were available to me in my store, and slowly but surely I began seeing the same results in my clients that he had seen. That's when I decided to try his product line for myself and for my family. My mother-in-law had, at that time, just had her second bypass surgery. Blood thinners and all the medications that she was taking were causing her to have a really poor quality of life. She always felt run down with no energy and was embarrassed about all the bruising that the blood thinners was causing on her arms. I tracked Dr. Wallach down and I spoke with him on the phone. I put my mother-in-law on Dr. Wallach's 90 for Life program for heart and circulation health. And with the help of her general practitioner, I weaned her off the blood thinners first. Then one by one, all the other medications. Now, a decade later, she still does not take any prescription medications for her heart or her circulation. She goes to her cardiologist once each year, has the ultrasounds done of her arteries, and every year since she started taking Dr. Wallach's products, her cardiologist tells her that she has no further blockage. He writes her yearly prescriptions for what he thinks she's still taking and tells her there's no need to change any of her medications to keep doing what she's been doing. She comes home, throws the prescriptions in the garbage, and continues, as her cardiologist told her, to keep doing what she's been doing. She continues to follow Dr. Wallach's recommendations and continues to take his products. She hasn't told the cardiologist about Dr. Wallach because she wants him to continue to monitor things on a yearly basis, and she's afraid that if she really let him know what she was doing, he wouldn't let her come back to his practice. Well, in 2013, I had the opportunity to meet Dr. Wallach in person and to work side by side with him throughout that year. About once a month, I'd travel with him all over the country as he did his health lectures, and eventually doing some of the lectures myself. I'd meet the folks that he had helped, that had been helped with his 90 for Life program, and we're so grateful for what Dr. Wallach had done for him. With Dr. Wallach's guidance, I began working with folks that I met along the way, educating them on the necessity of supplementing with the body with all the 90 essential nutrients that the body needs to support and promote its natural process of repair. I started those folks on Dr. Wallach's nutritional products based on their individual needs. And in most cases, within 90 days or less, I began seeing those folks have similar results to the results that my mother-in-law had. And that is precisely why I'm sharing this information with you. I want to help as many folks as possible to improve their health, and where possible, get off the dangerous pharmaceuticals that they're currently taking. I mentioned that Dr. Wallach's a veterinarian and then became a physician, but I haven't told you the entire story. He graduated from the University of Missouri with a degree in soil science and Doctor of Veterinary Science. From there, he began working with Marlin Perkins of the Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom on saving endangered species of animals, both in Africa and then back here in the United States at various zoos. From there, he worked on a decade-long project with the National Institutes of Health as a pathologist, where he completed thousands of comparative autopsies and hundreds of thousands of blood chemistries from hundreds of species of animals and human beings. From that research, his findings have been published more than 70 times in scientific and medical journals. He compiled all that research together and co-authored a book, The Diseases of Exotic Animals, that's currently in the Smithsonian Institute as a national treasure. He then returned to school to become a naturopathic doctor, so he can then apply his veterinary concepts in his human patients. He's been recognized with various prestigious awards, including one most recently at the United Nations for his life's work. And I'm so blessed to count him as a friend and colleague. Veterinary research has cured over 900 diseases in animals that we still suffer from. The veterinary industry and Dr. Wallach's research has shown that diseases like arthritis and diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular disease, and many, many more are diseases of nutritional deficiencies. If they were traced back, in most cases we can find a deficiency in some mineral, vitamin, amino acid, or other nutritional compound. Likewise, the veterinary industry has learned that if they supplement the animal feed with all the nutrition the animal needs, they can actually increase a healthy life expectancy of the animals. In the human model of medicine, when something goes wrong, the first inclination is to prescribe a medication. Medications, with the exception of the anti-infective category, don't heal anything. They just treat symptoms. I want you to think about this. You're driving down the interstate in your car and the check engine light comes on. Do you ignore it? Or do you check to see what's wrong and get it fixed? If you cut the wire going to that light and ignore the light, what would eventually happen? The car's going to break down, possibly, depending on what's wrong, possibly a catastrophic failure. Well, that's exactly what happens when you get a prescription. You're cutting the wire to the red warning light, the symptom of the disease that you're experiencing in the body. The body is trying to tell you something. It's trying to tell you that something's wrong. When you give a prescription, the drug, the medication, is designed to affect some biological process in the body in order to get the response that the doctor wants. In effect, ignoring the red warning light and not fixing what's really wrong. Dr. Wallach, from those thousands of autopsies in his veterinary research, discovered that nutritional deficiencies are at the root cause to all the ailments that we still suffer from. He discovered that if you give the body all 90 essential nutrients, then you're supplying the body with the raw materials that it needs to support and promote the body's natural ability to repair itself. And it's precisely this that has me so excited. Why is it that the United States spends more money on health care than everyone else in the world combined? Spending more money on health care than anyone else in the world has not paid off. The United States is 60th in life expectancy. That means 59 other countries have a longer life expectancy than we do. We're 41st in infant mortality, and only 1 in 10,000 Americans live to be 100. How can this be? It's because we're trying to win the battle of good health with medications instead of optimal nutrition. We're cutting the red warning light and ignoring what's at the root cause of the disease. Based on Dr. Wallach's decades of research, he's found that your body needs at least 90 essential nutrients to function at its best. These nutrients include 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 2 essential fatty acids. The foundation of nutritional health is what he calls 90 for life. Unfortunately, all these nutrients are no longer found in our food because of decades of farming practices that have left our soils depleted of these nutrients, combined with the heavy processing in the food manufacturing process, the addition of dangerous synthetic chemicals and flavorings and preservatives on our food doesn't contain the nutrients that it once did. So your first step to optimizing health is to provide your body with all 90 essential nutrients, the core nutrition needed. While the 90 essential nutrients are necessary to provide a powerful base for sustained health, ultimate wellness is further supported and customized with additional nutrients depending on your personal needs. For example, if you're suffering from joint pain, there's a 90 for Life program specifically formulated for bone and joint health. There's formulations to support healthy blood sugar, cardiovascular support. If you're active in sports or if you got a job that causes you to sweat all the time, then he designed an athletic support program for you. And then there's many more. From personal and professional experience, I know that by following Dr. Wallach's recommendations, I can help folks get better control of their blood sugar, to improve their bone and joint health, to gain control of their blood pressure, and many, many more improvements in their health and overall well-being. Again, that's precisely why I'm sharing this information with you. I want to help as many folks as I possibly can to improve their health, and where possible to help them even reduce or even eliminate the need for the dangerous pharmaceuticals that they've been taking. I need you to help me to get this information out to others. There are 2 ways that you can help. You can identify some folks that have some health issues, who are concerned about preventing health issues that some of their relatives have suffered from in the past, and then introduce them to me. Second, Dr. Wallach and I need help getting this information out. We're looking for a few key people to work with me to help get this information out there. I'm looking for some folks that have leadership qualities, that can follow and teach a simple system, folks that want to create an additional income that continues to come in month after month, and possibly even replace their current income. In either case, if you're interested in learning more about getting healthy or the income opportunity, then just complete the information on this website and I'll get back with you as soon as possible. I hate spam as much as you guys do, so I will not rent or sell the information to anyone else. It's just used by me to help get that information out to you. Thanks again for watching this video.
Thanks for tuning in to the Health and Wellness Hour with Dr. Joel Wallach and Pharmacist Keith Abell. If you found value in this episode, be sure to like and share. Also, to be notified when the next episode is posted, click on the subscribe button, then hit that little bell symbol. If you have any questions or comments for Pharmacist Keith or Dr. Wallach, you may send a private email to askpharmacistkeith@live.com or by visiting the Facebook page, Give Doc 90 Days to Better Health, Wellness, and Longevity. Dr. Wallach has 2 nationally syndicated radio programs daily, Dead Doctors Don't Lie and Let's Play Doctor. Check your local radio listings for details. Also, check out the archives of his past shows at radio.givedoc90days.com. One last thing, if you'd like to join Dr. Wallach's crusade to share his message with others, contact Pharmacist Keith, and he'll teach you how to share the message and create some extra income at the same time. Contact Pharmacist Keith through his email address, keith@prosperityrx.com, or call or text at 502-212-2929. Remember, Keith is still a practicing pharmacist and can't always pick up the phone right away, so leave your name, number, and best time to call, and he'll return your call as soon as possible. Thanks again for tuning in.